this video, let's try to understand how do we remove a file from a Git repository. So let's say you already created a file and then you have pushed that to a Git repository and now you realize, oh, that's not the file I wanted to put that into Git repository. Now, why you will not put something in a Git repository? Now think about this. You're working on a project and you have multiple files, and one of the file is basically where you put your credentials. Let's say I create a file here. So this is where I will put all my password just for my references. So I will say all my creds.txt, and this is where I will basically put my username password. So I will say username is nvn02 and my password is rdy03. So this is my basically username and that's my password. And I just want to save it for my reference so that I can just connect with the database or something. And I want this to be only in my particular machine. I don't want to push to the server, right? And after this, let's say we also have some README files. So we got readme.txt or readme.md. Basically, we have a concept of markdown. You know, if you want to make some document beautiful, we can use markdown to make it more beautiful. That's what Git uses. So basically we get readme.md, and this is an important file in every project. So we'll also see that. And okay, so you can see we got U here, which is untracked basically. So let's say in readme, I will say this is my first project. Author is Naveen Reddy. Company is Tagisco. Okay, so let's say we have these values here. Credentials we have already mentioned. And let's also do some changes in the first code. In the first code now, you want to submit data to the database. So let's say we have all these changes in the code. Okay, imagine this is a coding file of any language which you love, and we have made the changes here. And now what I will do is I will just see the Git status. When I say Git status, you can see it is showing that you have one modified file, and that's correct. We have done the modification, and you got two files which are basically untracked, and that's why it says. You can see if you see here we have U, which is untracked. Okay, now I know what to do. In fact, if you do status once again, you can see there's an option here as well. No changes added to the commit, use git add or git commit -a. So -a is basically an option of adding directly in one line itself. But let's say if I want to add all the files in the staging, how will I do that? Of course, if you want to add all the files, you can simply say git add and mention each file. So this is firstcode.txt, then you say enter, again do it for the next one. Or what you can do is there's a shortcut, you can simply say dot. Now dot simply means you can add all the files in the staging area, enter and done. Now all the files are being tracked. So you can say now it says A, which is added, and if I say git status now, so you can see we got a new file, two new files, and one is modified one. And if you want to make the changes, you can simply say git commit -m, and you can pass the message. You can say readme and story 3.2. Okay, so let's say I'm adding this 3. And then you can see we got the files in the database now, but basically your Git database. Now, if I say git status, what happens? If I say git status, it says everything is clean, nothing to commit. And now everything is being tracked in the Git repository. That's cool, right? But then the thing is, I will now, after working for let's say a few hours, I will decide to push this to the GitHub repository or some public repository. Now at that point, what happens is everyone can see my username password. I don't want it. Basically, I don't want this file to be there in my Git. One way you can do that, you can just right click here and you can say delete. Move to trash, and done, your job is done. But the problem is, if you say git status, it's already there. It says it is deleted, but it is deleted from your working directory, not from your Git, right? So one thing you can do is you can say, but if you do git commit, that's tricky now, right? So what was the idea here is, don't delete it from here. I would say git status, everything is clean. Don't delete from your working directory. You have to delete first from the Git. And the way you can do that is by saying git rm, that's the command you have to use. And then you have to mention that it is basically cached. So we have to say cached and then mention the file name, which is creds.txt. Now, when you say enter, it says removed, and you can see now it is untracked. So basically first you have to delete your file from the Git. Now it is untracked and you can happily delete now. Delete, moved, and now you can say get status, everything is cool. You can say changes to be committed. So I will simply say git commit -m, remove the creds file, and done. So now you can see we don't have anything here and we don't have anything in the Git, and that's how basically you can safeguard yourself from your unexpected file uploads.